everybody. It is Erin or Gimme Yarn 418, and I am here with Thank God It's Finished. I have a good amount of stuff to show you, so I'm going to get right into it while everybody is quiet because that hasn't been the case for the last little bit. Last week I was working on the socks, the plain vanilla socks out of Opal yarn for Kristen with the fish lips kiss heel, and I did in fact finish those. These were super quick because I've just really enjoyed the yarn. Colors are coming up pretty good, except this green is a little bit lighter, a little bit more blue tones in that green than it's showing on the screen. And she says that these might be her favorite socks of all time. And while they don't match perfectly, they match pretty darn close, so I'm happy. And I think I have wool in my eye. That's okay. The next finished object I have is one of the African flower animals, and I think it's called the Bluebird of Happiness. And here she is. She's finished. Made her on Saturday, except for her beak. Her beak, I think I did the beak on yesterday or the day before yesterday. So Molly is dangerously close to Dewey right now, so I'm waiting for a war to break out here. Molly, you gotta back up. Molly, back up. So this is crocheted out of Vanna's Choice. The green is the last little bit I had left of my favorite color of Vanna's Choice, which I don't believe they make anymore, which I think is called Sea Spray Mist. It's like, you can't tell, but it's green and white. It's like a tonal green, and I love it. And you can't get it anymore, and I bought it at Joann's for like 97 cents a skein when it went on clearance. The next thing I have, I showed a couple weeks ago, Nelson the Owl, the pay for a pattern on Ravelry. And as always, any pattern that I mention that I'm working on can be found in my Ravelry project page. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me a comment or a message on Ravelry, and I'll answer questions as best I can. So now Molly's found the bird. Molly. She's okay. She just wants to be in the video. So I made some more Nelsons. The first one I made, nope, this is the second one I made. This one, I guess I'll just show them both to you. I made this one first, and then I realized that the person that asked for this wanted a pink bird with a blue belly, not a blue bird with a pink belly. So rather than ripping it out, I just made two. And these are crocheted out of Bernat Super Value. And I made one other one out of Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn, which was brown and red. In fact, this red's called Cranberry, I know, because I wasn't sure when I was up in the studio if it really was red, but I knew that cranberries were red, so I figured it was a pretty safe bet. And the last things I have to show you, I gotta show you something first. I have this sheep sits next to me at the fireplace, and Molly desperately wants to play with it, but has been so good about leaving it be. But she's getting more curious about the fun fur. So, the last finished objects I have, I actually finished today. I had some self-striping wool, 100% wool, locally sourced wool upstairs that had been sitting there for a while. So I pulled out the Addy and I made a couple hats. Ooh, colors aren't coming out great. I did the folded up brim, keeping it on the Addy. I'm gonna get this close so maybe you can see the colors. Yeah, those are the colors. Pretty much, not really, kinda. That's the colors. I like how these came out. I was pleased with them. I got the right size, the right fit that I was looking for. This one reminded me of a hat that Margaret made. And this is probably my favorite one because this is my favorite colorway of this yarn. I can't find the back. I like these earthy autumnal colors. So yeah, those are done. And that's all my finished objects, finished objects, finished objects. Do you know, if you saw me 5 minutes and 30 seconds ago, I was like on the verge of tears because no one would cooperate with me, and now I'm singing a song about finished objects, and my feet are falling asleep. So, what's next? Works in progress. I have my list here. I have 3 works in progress this week. One is The Bunny to the Lamb that I showed you last week by Susan B. Anderson. It has gotten no attention, so I'm not going to pull that back out. But I do hope to finish that this week. I want to get it in the mail to who I'm sending it to. So the next thing is the reason that I'm recording so late, because I really wanted to finish it, and I'm like 5 rows away from finishing it, is out of another Crafty Girl in the Gonzo colorway on Twinkle Sock, and it's the TVG shawl. And I have 15 grams of yarn left, and I'm going to bind off when I have 5. This has been a very enjoyable knit, despite the fact that I am now doing over 500 stitches, plus 1 every row, of 2x2 rib. It's kind of bunched up on the needle right now, so you can't really see it. But the benefit of not having it done this week is that next week it will be finished and blocked, God willing. I'm actually hoping to finish it tonight. So see, here's the ribbing. I think it's supposed to ruffle a little, but I'm not exactly sure. I love the way the yarn is coming out. Ooh, you can see the sparkle this week. It's really pretty. The yarn was a gift from Diane of Knittables. So thank you, Diane. Not that I think she watches this, but that's okay. And okay, now, ooh, God, getting old sucks. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that word, but too late now. The other thing I'm working on is a pair of socks for myself out of, let me find I do have the ball band for this one, Opal Bicolor, that I've had in my, oops, backwards, I forgot. The color is 5506, very original. Did I have these started last week? No, I didn't, because I didn't start them till I started till I finished Kristen's socks. But I do have one finished, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to get these done this weekend. After I finish the shawl, this is what's next. And then I have this much of the cuff, the leg of the sock. I have the cuff and part of the leg done. So those are making fantastic progress, and I'm loving. Opal could become a problem if I was allowed to buy yarn. No, Opal could quickly become one of my favorite sock yarns. Okay, so I'm going to talk as fast as humanly possible because the dogs are getting a little bit restless. Molly's toy has been taken away, and she knows exactly where it is. She's finally sat down. So, a few weeks ago, Kristen brought me her grandmother's knitting needles and said, "Can you teach me how to knit?" So I cast on for her and taught her the knit stitch. Unfortunately, she then had an accident with our snowplow and injured her hand. She had some hematomas on her hand, and it was hard for her to use it very much, so she had to stop for a while, but she picked it back up. And in case you don't know already, Kristen is KB Mac Geek on Ravelry. Go over there and friend her, send her a friend request, or I don't know what it's called, just friend her, I think is all you have to do. So we now have a new section in the videos called Mac Geek's Makings, and she has 2 things. She has a finished object and she has a work in progress. So the first thing she made, which I showed you a few weeks ago, was she was working on just a small garter stitch scarf. She made this for Mia, which I think is adorable. And she did great, and she bound off by herself and weaved in her ends. and it came out fantastic, and her gauge has evened out tremendously, and she's really enjoying it. She just found another net loud toy, so I'm going to keep talking. No, Molly, Molly, Molly. So, I told her to go upstairs and find a chunkier yarn because she really likes these nice thick needles that were her grandmother's. And she came down with this, some Patons, whatever you want to call it, Shetland Chunky Tweed, which I really like this yarn. And she said, should I learn how to cast on? And I said, well, you only do the cast on once. Why don't we try and do the purl stitch, so then you can work in stockinette, and then it opens the doors to you. And I figure in between I can teach her how to cast on. So here's what she's working on. It's just 12 stitches. She's going to do another scarf. I'm not sure who this is for. But she is doing knit stitches and purl stitches, as well as she has 2 garter stitches on each side and some garter at the bottom, so that when I block it for her, it shouldn't roll as much as it is. At least I hope not. But she's doing really well. She was afraid she wasn't going to be able to get it, and she's only come to me, I think, one time, and that was because she had yarned over and she didn't realize it, and it was a nice, easy fix. So she's been working on that a little bit today. She worked on it a little bit during her break at work. So I'm hoping that she continues to do that. She says that she might only want to make scarves, and I said, that's fine. I said, if you enjoy it, then keep doing it. So, what's next? Oh, up next, I didn't talk about what I'll be not working on next. There's a few things. One is socks. I'm going to continue with socks. The second thing is I want to knit the hero sweater. My plan is to cast that on when I finish the shawl. And the third thing is I need to make some more baby stuff. I have acquired a bunch of new baby sweater patterns for crochet that I will be utilizing very soon. And the final thing is, I've showed you a couple quilts that I've made before, I think 2, and some quilt tops. And as I've said before, I am not now, nor will I ever be a quilter, but I am a huge fan of pre-cuts. So I have 2 quilting projects that I would like to do before I tackle the bigger project that's on my crafty 2014 crafty goals, which is a sheep quilt, which I'll show you later. One, I want to make a disappearing 9 patch. I have a lot of not a lot, I have a few charm packs that I'm going to use for that. And the other thing I want to do, which I haven't decided which fabric I'm going to use yet, is a jelly roll quilt. And it's similar to the jelly roll race, but it's not the jelly roll race quilt. It breaks it up some more. And I don't know if I'm going to use this rainbow batik or if I'm going to use this print. But I'm going to start one of those this weekend. Probably start and finish. Or start. I'm not sure. But I'm looking forward to those because like I said, I really like pre-cuts. I don't think I could fussy cut a quilt together. I just don't think I have the patience, and I'm not that great with a rotary cutter. Being completely honest with you here. 3 more things. The first thing is I am thinking of hosting a sock along from March 15th till April 30th. You can crochet, knit, loom knit, crank them out on a natty if you know how to do that. As long as there's 2, they're finished, they're woven, the ends are woven in, and they're photographed in time, they would count. And my plan was to do, if we have 1 to 50 entries, I will draw for 1 prize. If we have 50 to 100 entries, I'll do 2 prizes. And for every entry into the knit along or crochet along, which I can't imagine there'll be this many, over 100, I will draw an additional prize for every 100. So if there's 200, then there'll be 3 prizes. If there's 300, there'll be 4 prizes. Does that make sense? It's clear as mud to me. So I will put a chatter thread and a finished object thread up in the near future because what date is it? Yeah, it's March 7th. So, next. Tomorrow I will be hosting a Google Hangout at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be March 8th, 2014, and I promise I'll get the date right this time. At 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, check here under the video for an updated link and or on the Ravelry page for a link to it. The only requirement is that you need to have a set of headphones with mic so that so we don't have a bunch of feedback and people can enjoy themselves. If you haven't done it before, come check it out. It's a lot of fun. And last but not least, we have introductions. I have 2 people who introduced themselves over on the Ravelry board. If you haven't done so, go check us out on Ravelry and join the group if you're interested and introduce yourself, and I will say hello to you. So, the first person who introduced herself was Nina Crazy 4 Crochet, who is Nina in Maine, and the other one is Mawre. I think it's Marie, but just spelt Mawre, and that is Marie from North Carolina. So thanks for joining us. I hope you like what you see. So that's all I have. I hope you guys are doing well, and until next time, thanks for watching, and if you're interested, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Bye.